Hello there, Azo here. Today I'm just going to make a little bit of a summary of the October patch. Since the October patch has to be in like yesterday literally, I can't really test it out. So I decided to just, delay for it and just hopefully try everything by myself. And yeah, I'm gonna make a short video to explain about what is new. And firstly, I guess you can see that I am at the new island that they actually created in the Retem roof Maquad or something. I don't understand why, but this place here looks like it's going to be a very important boss fight or something, because it does definitely look like one. It reminded me of like the whole aesthetic from the first base PSO2 Chrome Dragon boss arena. I guess it looks like that because of the gravity anomaly that is going on here. And of course, about the talk speaking about the gravity anomaly, it actually comes from the whole story mode, I guess. The story has now updated into chapter I guess they can call it like chapter 6 and part 3. Well, I don't really know which part we are at, but if you were to complete the whole new story part now, which is like going to take like just 1 hour, by the way, it's not really that long actually. You can just complete the whole story and it's all right, I guess. Not exactly the kind of story I wanted, because it's mainly just focuses on like one of the main cast more than the other, and then you are just literally just agreeing with every single thing that the NPC speaks. So it's just kind of underwhelming for people who wanted more in-depth understanding on what your role as a guardian is supposed to be, instead of like understanding your partners, I suppose. But it's still a good, middle ground of like a padding kind of a story mode, I guess. At least you now can see there are some new lore drops in there, and there are some new abilities that are might be coming soon in the future that we learn from Manon. And I think if you really want to just look at the story, I think you should just do it, because it's very short, and I don't really think it is really not that tedious to complete it anyway. So yeah. Other than that, we also have like the whole Roof McQuad being like a new high level zone now. This time around is actually pretty different, because you have the warp sources being added into like literally every single map now. Not just Retem, which I thought is just like going to be on Retem only. But basically the warp sourcer thingy, you can actually teleport 5 times using it. But the problem is, if you are using a controller and you don't really use like the Z aim that much, you probably need to learn to how to use it. It doesn't like go in a very consistent manner, but if you know how to control it, I guess it's a good way to travel instead of like jumping and wall jumping, I suppose. But I would prefer to have a better vehicle movement than this, of course. Other than that, we also have like the higher level veterans. Finally, veterans were usually they usually are stuck at like very low levels, because the devs don't even care about leveling up the veterans. But I believe because there's a lot of like feedback about veterans, that they decided to like upgrade it, the whole system. So and finally we have level 82 veterans here. You can fight here, I suppose, which is very good, because they might spawn like the starless stuff as well. And the starless enemies is definitely going to require you to be level 80 in order for you to damage them. So make sure to complete the story to reach level 80, at least in your main class, so you can actually grind the other classes later on, I guess, easier. I haven't actually go down to the lower market area yet, but but it's I think it's just going to be another combat sector, I suppose. And I also tried out the Retem mining based defense quest, which is on rank 3, I suppose. It's at first it's pretty hard, I guess. If you have a very competent like public party that is like able to coordinate very well and are able to actually like move the aggro away from the towers, you could actually have a perfect run. But the thing is, coordination with public parties are extremely tough. So if you have a alliance that has at least like 8 people that is available to online at one time, I would suggest you to actually do that instead of like going on public, because sometimes if you have a very bad public, all your towers will just get destroyed like instantaneously, because yeah, everybody need to like have their own roles. Like you need to take care of your tower. You had to make sure to pull the aggro away from the tower, make sure that the boss doesn't just ram in front of the tower immediately, so he doesn't really like cause collision or just damage towards the tower as much as possible. Even if it's going to sacrifice yourself, it's best to aggro the boss away from the tower as far as possible. This is a very very challenging kind of a gameplay for them to like, at least participate in something that requires active attention, instead of like, oh, it's just another combat zone, another limited time quest, which is like the very very low stakes. So managed to complete one run, but albeit like only having one surviving tower, but I managed to actually capture the aggro of the boss, and it's so fun to fight against. So yeah, I'm probably gonna post that video of that whole run, but yeah, it's not exactly S rank, but it's something, I guess. So there is that, and you can actually get the new Octo Armor Vial as well, which it actually increases like 10 PP and also like 4.5 potency, I guess, all of your stats. Other than that, there is also like a good way for you to just constantly farm Giga Struckman. If you actually get the new Alliance Mag thing, just go to the very active Alliance space and just get the buffs from there, because if your alliance don't really have like a consistent kind of the members that actually constantly do alliance tasks, then I think it will be very hard for you to like get your mag up to stuff to like the maximum level, like very very active like content creators you know alliance max, I guess. So if you don't really have a good alliance anyways, you can actually just go to theirs and just get the buff from there. A maximum the max level alliance mag actually provides like 10% for every single stats, which is extremely powerful and very very useful, especially when you don't really want to use boosters, or when you're farming in a combat sector or anything. Other than that, yeah, it's pretty cool that you can actually farm stuff from the combat sector now, instead of like, oh yes, just farming everything in Lucille now. It's because the Maquad area is now like the high end farming zone now, and people are starting to farm uh, gigantics again and the starless enemies again, which is pretty cool, because usually they don't really do that unless there's value in doing this. So yeah, the game has some improvements here and there. There is also the new taming farming. I don't understand why, but there's the new tames farm thingy that has sometimes occurs in like the combat sectors or open field zones, but it's very rare. I guess this time around you don't have to worry about killing the tames like in the base PSO2, because you know how hard it is to capture a boss, right? Because some people might just one shot it, right? But this time around, the apparently the mobs are like, you can only deal one damage to them, so you are literally just hitting them to get into the circle, and that's it. Sometimes you might get like the rare golden ones, and you can actually round them up and you can get more rewards. Apparently this tames trial provides you a lot of like the ingredients for your food, which is pretty nice. And it means that you don't really need to like, oh, constantly just going every single map to just collect food materials. Now you can also just complete the trial to just get a lot of like food materials, and you don't really need to like collect them directly from the trees or the ground, or any other places. So this is an alternative method, I guess, similar to like fishing, I guess, in Sonic Frontiers. Same thing, but yeah, pretty convenient kind of stuff. Other than that, there's a new skill, but it's really just for range class. The new skill for range class is really insignificant, because if you're solo, the boss is going to always aggro you anyways. So I don't really think it's useful. It's only useful for classes that can reduce their aggro rate, I guess, for range classes. And yeah, if the boss is aggro on another target, then you deal a bit 15% more damage. But that is really it, to be honest. So yeah, that is probably the only patch I see that's worthwhile to talk about. And yeah, that is the rest of October. Remember to also put in the code from David Plays NGS as well, which I believe was it will be appearing on this screen here. And make sure to just like and subscribe if you want to see more content and more memes that is coming up, I guess. So yeah, sayonara.